Once upon a time, a long time ago, when then was then and now is now, and never the twain shall meet, except in storytelling. There was, once upon a time, a little green frog. He was very small and he was very bright green, and he lived in a farmyard. He was a very sociable little frog, but he was also homeless. He was a vagrant. He didn't have a home. And so this little green frog used to go from place to place around the farmyard looking for somewhere to sleep at night. He'd often visit the pigs. And the pigs would look at him and go, "Oink, oink, not a good idea if you come in here because we might tread on you. And then you'd be crushed and it wouldn't be very nice." "Oh," said the little green frog, "but couldn't I just sleep on your back?" "Well, they're very bristly, our backs are." "Oh," said the little green frog. And off he'd toddle, and he'd go to the stables where the horses were. And it was lovely straw in there and hay, and he felt that he could be welcomed there. But the horses turned round him and said, "Look, we like you very much, little green frog, but you're very small. And we have big feet, and they're iron shod. And if one of our big iron shod feet stepped on you, we would crush you." "Oh," said the little green frog. "Oh dear, I don't know what I'm going to do. So you don't want me sleeping in the stables with you?" Well," said the horse, "nay, probably not." So the little green frog went to visit the sheep. Now the sheep have lovely fluffy coats, and he just liked the idea of sleeping on the back of a sheep in all that lovely wool. Well, the sheep said to him, "Yes, you're very welcome to come and sleep on our backs, but you know we gamble about, and you might fall off, and we don't know what might happen to you, but I mean, you're welcome to stay with us if you want to." "Oh," said the frog, "well, I suppose that's a possibility." Then he thought about the chickens. Oh my goodness, the chickens. So he went to the hen hut and he talked to the chickens, said, "Can I come and live with you in the hen hut?" Well, the chickens, cluck, 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 they sort of looked at him and they said, "Well, I suppose you could stay with us, but we might peck you to death. We might think you're just a worm in the ground and eat you." "Oh," said the frog, "this is awful. I just want to have somewhere to live. I don't want to be homeless anymore." So the little green frog was wandering around the farmyard feeling very homeless when he heard a story. He heard that there was going to be a party in the sky, that the princess of the sky was going to hold this phenomenal party. He was so excited. He'd always wanted to go to a party. He loves parties. Well, he thought he loved parties. I mean, he'd actually never been to a party. So he went round to all the animals in the farmyard and he said to them, "Are you going to the party in the sky that the princess is holding?" And the horses said, "Well, you know, we're not Pegasus. We can't actually fly. And the party's up there in the clouds." "Oh," said the frog, "oh dear." So then he went to the sheep and he said to the sheep, "Are you going to go to the party in the sky? After all, you look a bit like clouds. You're all white and fluffy." Oh, the sheep said, "Well, we don't really fly actually. We're ground animals." So then the little green frog went off to see the pigs. And he got to the pig's sty and he said, "Are you going to go to the party in the sky?" And the pig said, "Well, actually, pigs don't fly. Sorry, we don't fly." Then the little frog had a really brilliant idea. The chickens, of course the chickens fly. So he headed for the chicken coop and he said to them, "Are you going to go to the party in the sky? Because you could take me there." Well, one of the chickens just sort of flapped his wings and he said, "Do you know," he said, "we could get about a foot off the ground and that would be it. In fact," he said, "I can just about fly to the wall and stand on it. We'd never get up there to the clouds. No chance." So the little frog just sat there and he thought, "I really want to go to this party. It's going to be the best party in the whole world." And then he heard a sort of vroomf, vroomf, vroomf of very large wings. And descending in front of him was a vulture. A huge vulture. I mean, just massive thing. And he said to the vulture, he said, "Hello, who are you?" And he said, "I'm the rock vulture." And he said, "Rock vulture?" He said, "Yes, I'm a rock musician. I've been invited to the party in the sky." "Oh," said the frog, "you've been invited up to the party in the sky. Can I come with you?" "Oh, yes, of course," said the vulture. "Just hop on my back, hold on to a few feathers, and off we go." And off they go, they did. Higher and higher and higher and higher. And the little frog looked down from his little place on the back of the vulture, and he looked down, and the farm got smaller and smaller and smaller until it nearly vanished from sight. And then, puff, they went into the clouds. Oh my goodness, that little green frog was so amazed, because once they got through the clouds, there was a palace up there. There were pillars and a huge ballroom and a stage, and it all glittered and glowed and was full of people. There were so many people up there. And the vulture said, "Now get off my back, because I'm playing in the band." And he got his guitar and off he went up onto the stage. And he started playing. Well, the frog was in raptures. He found his way to the bar, and at the bar he managed to get hold of some punch. And he did drink rather a lot of it, actually, especially for a very small frog. And in fact, everyone was drinking and eating, and the vulture had quite a few beers, because musicians, as we all know, drink a lot of beer. And by 3 o'clock in the morning, the little green frog was really rather drunk. And everyone started to leave. And he'd been so busy dancing, he hadn't noticed that people were slowly, slowly disappearing. And he thought, "Oh my goodness, how am I going to get home?" Then, suddenly, he noticed the guitar. The guitar was there, just in front of the stage. But he couldn't see the vulture anywhere, so he thought, best thing to do, I will get into the guitar. So he climbed in between the strings, like this. And he got in between strings, and then he hung on to one of the strings, and he waited. Well, he didn't have long to wait. The vulture, little bit the worse for wear, and rather drunk, picked up his guitar, put it on his back, and, having completely forgotten about the frog, started flying down through the puffy clouds, down and down and down. And as he was flying down, he heard this rather strange noise. He wasn't sure where it came from, but it was very close to him. And the noise was bang, bang, and he thought, "What's going on? There's something in my guitar. That's very strange. What on earth is making that noise?" He'd completely forgotten about the little frog. Bang, bonk. Well, the vulture took his guitar from his back and he shook it. And out fell the little green frog. The little green frog fell down to earth from a great height. And you know what happens to things that fall down to earth from a great height? They hit the ground with an awful splat. Poof! And every bit of the little green frog was broken and scattered. Well, when the vulture got to earth and realised what he'd done, he was devastated. He had totally forgotten about his little green friend. He was so upset, and he went to the place, and there it was, little bits of the little green frog. Oh! He couldn't believe it. And then he had a thought. He called the princess in the sky, and she came down. She came down from her palace in the sky. She was a nice princess. And she looked at the bits of the little green frog all splattered around. And she leant down very carefully and she picked up each little bit and she put them back together again. Head, legs, body. And then she waved her little hand over the little green frog and he sprang back to life. And she said, there, there. And she picked the little green frog up and she put the little green frog on her hand and she said, now, she said, vagrancy is not a good idea. You need to have a home. And I am going to give you a home because homeless creatures are not happy people. And we want you to be happy because you're a nice little green frog. And she walked around the farmyard and she came to a pond, a very lovely mill pond. And she set the little green frog down by the mill pond. And she said to the little green frog, this is going to be your home. And so it was. Thank you.